Dwight Yoakam's story is one of both triumph and mystery. By bucking trends and refusing to conform, he shot to fame, yet just as suddenly, he vanished from the spotlight. What happened to this country music rebel at the peak of his career? During his heyday, Dwight was the favorite country singer of many artists. At a time when his peers churned out sugary ballads and pop-infused crossover hits, Dwight was on a mission to reclaim the genre's roots. His boldness even caught the attention of the legendary Buck Owens. In 1987, Dwight surprised Buck by showing up unannounced at his office and convinced him to record a duet. The result, Streets of Bakersfield, became a huge hit, despite Buck not having had major success in years. But then, seemingly out of nowhere, Dwight disappeared from the music scene entirely. He briefly re-emerged for Buck Owens' funeral in 2006, appearing almost unrecognizable. So what became of Dwight Yoakam? What catastrophic events led to his disappearance? Who was the mysterious girlfriend from the 90s? And most importantly, what is he doing now? This is the story of the man who tried to shake up the country music establishment, only to be met with intense personal and professional struggles. Dwight's path in the music industry was unconventional. Most country singers follow a well-trodden path, years performing in local clubs, relocating to Nashville to work as session musicians, and eventually landing a record deal. Dwight did not play by these rules, and the industry would never fully forgive him. Early on, he learned that Nashville was a city of manipulation and control. Contrary to popular belief, he didn't move from Ohio to Nashville to secure a record deal. He eventually chose Los Angeles instead, a city where punk and country could coexist more freely than under Nashville's rigid oversight. Rather than creating pop ballads, Dwight released one authentic honky-tonk record after another, including Guitars, Cadillacs, Other Models, and Buenas Noches from a Lonely Room. Along the way, he openly criticized Nashville, Columbia Records for dropping Johnny Cash, and MTV for refusing to air country music videos. Even when Warner Music urged him to stop using the word hillbilly, Dwight stood firm, committed to his vision. For a time, it seemed he was winning. But by 1995, his momentum had waned, record sales were declining, and the industry's respect had faded. Instead of leaving behind a celebrated legacy, Dwight vanished without a trace. Whatever music he released afterward drew little attention, and he turned his talents toward unconventional pursuits. Dwight David Yoakam was born on October 23, 1956, in Pikeville, Kentucky, the eldest of 3 children to David Yoakam and Ruth Ann Tibbs Yoakam. His father was serving in the U.S. Army at the time, and shortly after, the family relocated to Columbus, Ohio. Dwight's father first worked at a Westinghouse factory, later running a gas station, while his mother nurtured the family's love for music. Dwight received his first guitar from his father, who, unable to master it himself, handed it to his son. After damaging it, he was given a second guitar at age 8. Around this time, Dwight composed his first song. He was influenced by the records his parents played, as well as AM country music station WNCI in Columbus, listening to artists like Johnny Cash and Johnny Horton. Family road trips also exposed him to singing and storytelling, which shaped his musical sensibilities. As he grew, rock and roll acts like Elvis Presley further fueled his passion. In 1968, the Yoakams moved to a new neighborhood in Columbus, where Dwight attended high school. He joined the school band as a drummer, encouraged by his mother, and participated in drama classes, even landing the role of Charlie in a production of Flowers for Algernon. His experience on stage built his confidence in performing publicly. In his final year of high school, Dwight and a few friends formed a rock band to compete in a school talent show. The band's popularity grew, eventually performing as the Greaser Band at private parties throughout Columbus. Dwight briefly attended Ohio State University but left to pursue music full-time. He was approached by a man offering a music deal while performing at a club in Gahanna, Ohio, but the offer turned out to be a scam. Determined to pursue country music, Dwight initially considered Nashville, but his approach leaned more toward honky-tonk and bluegrass than the prevailing pop-oriented Nashville sound. Facing resistance, he moved to Los Angeles in 1982, encouraged by Billy Alvis, a former member of the Greaser band. There, he met guitarist and producer Pete Anderson at a pub. Despite initial struggles, the two bonded over their mutual admiration for Merle Haggard. They also noticed that California's music scene embraced acts like Rank and File and Lone Justice, fueling the rise of cowpunk and alternative country. Performing at venues alongside these acts expanded Dwight's exposure and audience. Dwight's focus eventually shifted toward acting. He began with a modest role in a crime drama and gradually earned more substantial parts. His breakthrough came with Billy Bob Thornton's Sling Blade, where Dwight played Doyle Hargraves, gaining recognition for portraying charismatic yet diabolical characters, a stark contrast to his lovable musical persona. He went on to appear in The Newton Boys, The Minus Man, and co-wrote, directed, and starred in his own western, South of Heaven, West of Hell, also composing its soundtrack. Unfortunately, the film was a commercial and critical failure, leaving Dwight in significant debt. He had to sell his Malibu home, his production company went bankrupt, half of his cast sued him, and much of his touring band was disbanded. Despite these setbacks, Dwight continued acting, appearing in films like Panic Room, Wedding Crashers, Banditas, and the TV series Under the Dome and Goliath. Musically, Dwight's style draws from country rock, rockabilly, honky-tonk, neo-traditional country, and the Bakersfield sound. He has been credited with helping return country music to its roots in the late 80s. His work combined electric guitar and Hammond organ influences with traditional honky-tonk storytelling, appealing to both punk rockers and traditional country fans. Critics noted his plaintive yodel-edged voice and twangy tenor, and his stripped-down approach contrasted sharply with Nashville's pop scene. His albums, including Buenas Noches from a Lonely Room, blended tragic themes with melodic, upbeat instrumentation. Fans admired his dedication to authentic country while pushing the genre's boundaries. Dwight's personal life was marked by complex relationships. In the early 90s, he briefly dated Sharon Stone, but it ended poorly. He later had a 2-year relationship with Karen Duffy, followed by a short-lived romance with country singer Winona Judd. These relationships were often challenged by their touring schedules and Dwight's dedication to music. Despite romantic setbacks, he eventually found stability. In 2010, he began dating Emily Joyce, a photographer, and they married in 2020 under lockdown restrictions. Soon after, they welcomed their son Dalton, proving Dwight's commitment to family later in life. Today, Dwight Yoakam continues to create music for a dedicated fan base. He released the album, 3 Pairs, in 2012 and has continued producing high-quality records. He also runs Bakersfield Biscuits, a nationwide frozen goods brand. Over the years, he faced legal disputes, including a lawsuit from Pete Anderson in 2004 over missed concerts, and a contractual conflict with Warner Music in 2021 regarding streaming rights. Both issues were eventually resolved. Despite not being inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, Dwight remains active, balancing music, family, and business pursuits. His story is one of resilience, creativity, and staying true to one's vision despite industry pressures. Dwight Yoakam's life reminds us that success is not always linear. From revolutionizing country music and achieving Hollywood recognition to facing financial hardships and personal challenges, Dwight has persevered. Today, he continues to influence music, acting, and entrepreneurship while maintaining a loyal fan base, proving that true artistry can thrive beyond mainstream recognition.